Most people choose simplicity over freedom, and for me, that wasn't the choice I made. However, here's why it's not exactly as bad as people make it out to be, and here's why you may be more happy living a more simplistic life in a country. Hello and welcome back to Travel Reports. Today we're going over the simplicity of the world and how a lot of the world is actually very simplistic. And if you are looking for simplicity rather than freedom, what realistically you can do in that event. Of course, when I say simplicity, I think that what needs to be understood is that a lot of countries are very simplistic. So, let me give you some examples. Norway, very simplistic country. The Netherlands, very simplistic country. Because there is predictability, right? There is people who just live their lives and kind of make their lives easier. And this is something that, if you enjoy the socialized welfare state, it's totally fine to go to those countries. And additionally, yes, you will have, constant tracking of things in a lot of these countries. In fact, some of the most, cameras in the world aren't in China. They aren't in places like that. They're the socialized welfare states because they want safety. And of course, to me, right, someone who is more freedom oriented, someone who is looking for more sovereignty, this doesn't interest me. But if you are someone who enjoys paying taxes, you are someone who enjoys living in a society that is more simplistic, it makes sense. I'm presently here in Georgia, and Georgia is the complete opposite, right? The complete opposite of simplicity. It is freedom through connections. And while realistically everything is codified, everything is negotiable as well. And you can find people that can fast track just about everything. And I'll go over citizenship by exception here as well, here soon, as realistically it was de facto codified through a leak, but that's another video altogether. Essentially, what you get is a very unique situation here in Georgia where people are more simple day to day, but realistically, the way they got to simplicity was being ungovernable. And so thus, they're free. It's largely similar in a place like Albania, where there is more simplicity as a result of being more free. But if you want, simplicity of paying your taxes, simplicity of getting your money abroad, living in a place, then I would not recommend these countries, as the vast majority of these countries are built on the fact that they are ungovernable. They're built on the fact that they don't tend to listen to a central authority and are clan-based. So, in essence, what you get is a very unique situation in Georgia and in a lot of these countries where you do get massive freedoms, but those freedoms are then dictated by other stipulations. And so, of course, when you look at people who, from the US, for instance, who say they're going to move, often they don't say they're going to move to Mexico, even though that's the largest US expat orientation and place of living. They say they're going to live in Canada. They say they're going to live in the UK. They say they're going to live in places like Sweden, Denmark, Norway, because these are the systems that are easiest, right? If you are looking not necessarily at the tax rates, but more if you are a middle class person and you do only want to achieve middle class status. And that is stable, right? That is a noble thing to do. It's not something that I'm going to shy away from. And additionally, of course, if you are looking at these countries, I'll be creating videos on them here in the near future. So if you're looking forward to that, subscribe down below. But when I look at how things operate, and I look at the optionality you have, I think that this is not inherently a bad thing. And I see that people, of course, in my community, are more, freedom oriented. They are more able to spend time outside of countries that are quote unquote normal or quote unquote stable, but often it's not inherently directly applicable, right? It's not directly something that is too much of a worry for many people, and that's totally fair. If you value simplicity over these free ideals, then it's not inherently a bad thing to go to countries where there is a police state, like Switzerland. It's not inherently a bad idea to go to a place where you can have this simple life. And it's this sustainability and this consistency that many people want, that many people like. And this thought that they're never going to be, and it is a thought, but this thought that they're never going to be dealing with being in poverty, dealing with having to spend time, in a country where people do have issues with poverty, where there is inequality at a mass scale, not just, and visible inequality at that. Often when people look at Gini coefficients, which I'll create a video on why Gini coefficients don't really matter, but when people look at Gini coefficients, they often see that places like the Netherlands or, Sweden, whatever else, that number they associate with solely the national wealth. And, the people that live in these countries are very stable, they're very happy. And in some cases they are. But for me, it was, okay, let me break down the systems and learn freedom. And not everyone is like that. So, of course, I encourage you to do what you find to be the most effective for your situation and move where your money matters. Of course, if you're looking to move to another country and you're looking at where to move, feel free to reach out, book a call, 15 minutes, absolutely free, one-on-one on the Calendly link down below. If you like this video, feel free to like it. If you really like this video, feel free to share it with your friends. If you're looking to join me on this journey of internationalization and globalization, feel free to subscribe. This has been the Traveling Report, signing off.